I need that money. I really, really do. I need that money. I really need that money. Really need that money. I need that money. I really, really do. I need that money. I really need that money. Really need that money. Really, that money. That money.
I think every animation but the new one. I'm going to play it again. I can't get it. I swear it's not a scam. I swear it's not a scam. I have new animations. All right. It better play one of them this time. Oh. A nice big release there. Some pressure has been building up. All right. So now you can see that's one of many. There's like tons of them saved up for new ones for today. Okay. 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 And I got a lot to shout out. All right. I do have a lot to shout out here. So, what was I saying? Let me get through what I was saying because I got derailed there. So, every day when I turned on my stream, it used to look like this. And it used to have the PS4 dashboard playing. I already was set up to be on the PS4 dashboard, and we would jump right into gameplay on my PS4 pretty much every day. Now, I had a pre-stream where I would talk. I would actually talk on that screen. I wasn't on screen like I am now. I didn't have a scene set up like this. I didn't have a scene set up like this. I didn't have things that I could alternate between. It was all just on one screen. Incredibly primitive, low quality, you know. My camera looked like peach fuzz, like it was on a potato. You know what I mean? It was bad quality stuff, to be honest, you know. I know that I wasn't top of the line. I was barely getting by. You know, my capture device was primitive and only like, I think it was only 720p at that time and stuff like that. So, since everything was all on one screen, that's why there was potential for there to be an error. Like today, nothing would ever show up on screen accidentally because it's all set up on different screens and stuff. Like when I'm on this screen, okay, you can't see anything. It's just all that's on there is the slideshow. The camera's not even on that screen. You know what I'm saying? But back then, I didn't plan ahead. I didn't have a good setup. So everything was on that one screen. And what ended up happening, if you remember, was there was a day when I turned on that dashboard, had the PS4 dashboard going, okay, and I happened to be doing something right here. Of course, it wasn't this chair. It wasn't this camera. It wasn't this desk. All this equipment is different. The only thing that's the same is the room, okay? But I just happened to be doing something on camera that I didn't realize the camera was on. Now, I want to clarify, because people have talked about this for years and years and years, and so much lore has built up around it, and so much, quite frankly, misinformation, that I want to clarify the situation. First of all, I was only streaming on YouTube. This was not when I was on Twitch. I was only exclusively streaming on YouTube at the time, okay? And some people have said, oh, top 10 stream fails on Twitch and this and that, and it's all bullshit. Like, people were making videos and stuff about it, and it was all misinformation and wrong. They got it all wrong, okay? It wasn't broadcast to a wide audience whatsoever. It was the pre-stream. With the pre-stream, I used to turn on the stream and have it running for like a half an hour, just running that, okay? And essentially, what would happen is, eventually I would talk over that screen for like a half an hour, and then we would jump into gameplay. So not a lot of people were on my pre-stream. I mean, no exaggeration. It was probably like 20, 30 people that were on the stream at that point because I hadn't started talking yet or anything. So no one knew that I was there and that they should pay attention. It was just people basically kind of sitting in a waiting line, waiting to come into the auditorium to see the show. Does that make sense? So the misinformation that, oh, DSP, he broadcast the Fappening in front of thousands of small children is all fake. It was like 20, 30 people who were actually there live. Now, the thing is, there's always been people who stalk me. So no exaggeration, even that, you know, the pre-stream just rolling, people would actually record it. They weren't rebroadcasting it back then. For the record, you know, today I have live restreamers who restream everything that I do. They weren't doing that back then, but they would record and archive all of my content just in case something happened that they saw was a moment that they wanted to edit and try to get views off of. So in this case, there was someone who actually recorded it, and that's how it got archived, okay? So what ended up happening was my camera turned on, and by the way, is my microphone working right here? It is, right? You can hear me? Okay. So basically, this is what happened. My camera was up here in the corner, and it was on accidentally. I had forgotten to turn the camera off the night before on the previous stream. I didn't think about that or know that. I didn't even check the stream. Okay, I just turned it on, and then I went about my business with the camera on in the corner like this, okay? So here's the thing. There was, oh, by the way, did I mute the sound? Maybe I didn't. Hold on. I just want to make sure. Yeah, it's not playing the PS4 theme, right? No, I turned that off. Okay. So, FYI, okay, there was no sound whatsoever. So there was no actual sound effects. There was no music. There was nothing. It was just the PS4 dashboard theme was playing. So actually, it was like this. This is actually what it was like, okay? Now, obviously, my camera didn't look this good, and I didn't have a background removal tool or whatever. So the camera was on accidentally just like this. And normally, people would just be waiting, and there'd be no camera, and this would be like 30, 40 minutes of just PS4 dashboard. Then I would talk, but there'd be no camera. You just hear me talking to you like this. So literally, this is what my old streams used to look like 10 years ago, okay? But I accidentally had the camera on. And so what people saw was me having a little happy accident, inadvertently streaming it in front of like 30 people on YouTube. There was no sound. You didn't see what I was looking at. All you saw was what you're seeing right now, like waist up. And by the way, the camera was awful. There was no lights on in the room. So it was very dark, very blurry, very awful. Okay? But all you ever saw was this and my O face, essentially. That's it. Nothing else. So anything else you've heard is a complete lie. All right? There was no accidental exposure. There was no sound effects with it. You didn't hear anything. Nothing. It was just silence and this really bad quality camera. All right? That's it. That's the truth of the matter. It lasted, what, a minute, 2 minutes? And then when I realized what was going on, because I turned and I looked and I saw the chat, and the chat was reacting and saying, what the hell was he doing? And then I looked at, oh, and my reaction was this. Oh, the camera was on the whole time, huh? And then basically I just went forward and pretended like none of it happened. All right, for the rest of my stream. What was I streaming that day? The Neo demo. So Neo 1, Nioh, that's the game from Bandai Namco, I believe. Or is it Tecmo? I forget who made it. But it's the Souls-like game, okay? So I was playing this demo of the game that day. And I want you to think about this. I go from this incredibly embarrassing moment. I completely play it off like it never happened. I ignore anyone talking about it in the chat and end up having people banned for talking about it. And I'm playing this insanely, cripplingly difficult game, pretending like nothing happened. And I'm actually doing well. Like I'm actually going through it. I'm dying a lot, but I am making progress in it and everything, right? That's pretty crazy to think that I just went right forward with it and just pretended like it never happened for that one stream, okay? Now, obviously, we all knew that wasn't going to fly. How are you going to pretend like that didn't happen? Because like I said, sadly, my detractors went ahead and clipped it and uploaded it a million places. It became a meme. It was going viral within like a few hours of it happening. It was going viral all over the internet. So the question was, how was I going to handle it, right? So, hold on one second. Let's get back to this. So, knowing that it was going to be all over the internet, all right, there was a couple ways that I could handle it. Number one, I could just continue to play it off like it never happened, as if it was like a moment in time that just, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. Now, obviously, that was going to take an insane amount of ridiculous ignoring and effort. You knew that everyone was always going to pester me about it forever, right? So I had a feeling that probably wasn't going to work. Just seeing that very first stream where basically I was trying to like moderate and make it so that, no one talks about it. It was impossible. Like we were going to make the rest of my life a living hell. Okay. Option number two, I could just completely quit streaming. Just give up. Say, forget it. It's not worth it. It's going to be so much embarrassment and so many people making fun of me forever that I quit and I'll just go get a 9-to-5 job. The problem was that really wasn't an option for me. At that point, I had just moved across the country from Connecticut on the East Coast of the United States to Washington State on the Pacific Northwestern part of the United States. The move cost me an insane amount of money that put me into debt. All right. There was no way I was going to quit YouTube as a full-time YouTuber and go get a 9-to-5 job that was going to pay as much as I was making. I was going to end up basically losing everything if I quit YouTube. So I was like, dude, I have to make this work somehow. What the hell am I going to do? Okay. So I ended up doing option 3, which was basically owning up to it, memeing about it, laughing about it, and basically making fun of myself for quite some time, which is exactly what I did. I actually changed my Twitter avatar, because it was still Twitter back then, to the meme of Prince Adam from Masters of the Universe with the rainbow background, and he's doing his face, oh, like that. I kept joking about it. I remember I tweeted like Keemstar and Drama Alert about it in a joking way, because they had brought it up. So there was a whole bunch of people talking about it, and I just kept laughing about it and making fun of it. And momentarily, some people were covering it as, this is really bad for Phil, but because of the way that I handled it, because I laughed along with it, because I memed about it, it ended up not being so bad. Now, yes, here's the thing, all right? That by far was the biggest mistake I ever made, okay? And to this day, 10 years later, through all the trials and tribulations I've been through, the ups and downs and all the mistakes, you know, I've been through a bankruptcy. I spent money on mobile games. I begged, okay? All the horrible things that people talk about that I've done on the internet. By far, that moment, the Fappening 10 years ago, was still the most embarrassing moment that I've ever gone through. And to be honest with you, I think it will likely be the most embarrassing moment that I've ever had in my life. And I just kind of approached it like that, saying, listen, I already went through the worst, most embarrassing thing ever. I survived it. I came out the other end of it. I mean, here I am a decade later, right? I'm happily married. I am a successful full-time live streamer, partnered both on YouTube and on Kick. I make bank streaming on both sites every single day. I love what I do because I get to game for a living and have a great time with an awesome interactive audience. Okay? I have dramatically improved my life situation in the last several years. Number one, as you can see, my setup and everything has dramatically improved for the better. I'm able to play any game I want on a high-end gaming PC with all this equipment around me that looks amazing, that plays amazing. Everything has just been dramatically improved for me. Okay? But in addition to that, my personal life has gotten so much better. You know, like I said, I have a really good relationship off stream with my wife. I'm healthy. I've lost so much weight. I'm exercising. At 44 years old, I have a better physique now than I had since my early 20s. Okay? So everything for the last several years has been going so good for me that I look back now at that moment 10 years ago, and I'm like, man, that was just certainly one of the most, if not the most embarrassing thing that will ever happen to me in my life. But my God, have I improved since then? Everything is just so much better. Everything is, you know, people actually coming by and enjoying my content. I was the laughing stock for a while, but things have definitely flipped for me in a positive way. And the truth is, you're never going to please everyone, right? Like they say, you can please some of the people all of the time, all the people some of the time, but you just can't please everyone all the time. I know that I'm always going to have critics. I'm always going to have detractors, and I'm always going to have people who say awful things about me. It's just an inevitable thing. When you're a public figure, when you're someone who has a face to the internet, and that's how you make your living, you're always going to have that. And there's nothing you can do about it. But as long as you're happy with yourself, you're healthy, and you're having a good time, who cares what everyone else says? Right? To this day, people still come by and bring up the Fappening from 10 years ago, to which I'm like, yeah, it happened. Big deal. I don't care because I'm here 10 years later, a survivor. I'm way out of that toxic part of my life, and things are so much better. Okay? That's my attitude. Now, what I'd like to do is some shout outs, and then what we'll do is we will actually go ahead and talk further about all of it because people are asking questions. People want specifics. I'm down for that. Let's talk about it today and get it out of the way. There is so much misinformation. For example, this guy says, you did not handle it that way. You asked Machinima to DMCA all the clips. Completely and utterly false. That is literal. What is he doing? Well, that's a hell of a super sticker. How'd you find that one? Anyway, that's complete misinformation. That never actually happened. Oh, by the way, it looks like my chat has frozen. My YouTube chat. Let me try to. Oh yeah, my YouTube chat did freeze. I just reloaded it. So, no. Well, here's what happened. I'll clear that up because I want to do all these shout outs. All right. Oh. Oh. Now we're starting to get some animations. All right. Okay. So that is actually one of the big misconceptions that we had back then, is that people were like, oh, people were posting up the moment, the Fappening, and they were getting copyright takedowns on YouTube. That had nothing to do with me. What ended up happening was, back then, if you don't know, I was partnered with Machinima. They were my partner network on YouTube. That's how I was able to monetize my content through YouTube. Okay? They, without even speaking to me, went out of their way to start doing stuff like that without my permission. Now, I think that's underhanded and messed up, because who's going to get the flack for that? Me. I'm the one who's actually going to take the negative attention. They're a big corporation. They don't care, but I'm the one who gets yelled at, right? So what happened was, they contacted me, and I've shown the emails before. I did a special over on my DSP Reacts channel a couple of years ago where I went through my history with Machinima and how they definitely mishandled things with me. And that was one of the times when they decided, oh, we're going to take matters into our own hands, and because you're our partner, we want to hide this. So they actually started taking down people who were reposting the clip. I never said to do that. I want you to think about this. If I had absolutely admitted publicly that all this happened, if I was joking about it, if I changed my Twitter avatar to be Prince Adam with his O face and all of that, why on earth would I tell Machinima to DMCA claim people talking about it and take it down? I never did. They actually emailed me after the fact, like a day or two after it happened, and said, so we're just checking in to see that you're okay, and just so you know, we're starting to take down videos. I was like, whoa, what? I was like, I didn't tell you to do that. You know, like, I can't stop you. You're my partner network. You know, I can't stop you as a company from doing it, because technically they owned the rights to my videos. So they had the right to copyright claim people if they wanted to, because legally I had a contract where they could do that. But I didn't agree with that. So here they are hitting people, and I start getting negative responses from the internet. Why are you taking people down? I'm not doing any of that. And I even showed later, years later, my whole copyright page, and, you know, where it shows what videos you've claimed. I never claimed any of those videos. That was all Machinima doing it through their network page, not me. Okay? All right. Thank you, Adrian. Here we go. Let's do some frog flexing. Hell yeah. And maybe we'll do some left arm flexing today too, but I have to figure out a camera angle to do it. It's not a very good camera angle. There we go. Some left arm flexing as well for you. There we go. Okay. So we got a whole bunch of stuff to shout out. Let's do shout outs, and then we can get more into the details of everything. Okay. Let me shout out the kicks first, because those delete and disappear. So Based Alpha Real did 500 kicks. He says, you won the hearts of millions that day, Phil. Oh yeah, millions. I know. I'm not even kidding. Millions of people saw it. 100%. It was going front page virally on websites and news sites and meme sites, and everywhere it was posted. It was just absolutely all over the internet. Seriously, it was out of control. Okay. Thank you to Bilbo Swaggins for 500 kicks. He says, LTG treats every L like a conspiracy. Since admitting to skill issues would require accountability, he could learn from DSP. Well, thank you. Well, thank you very much for that, Bilbo Swaggins. Yeah, I mean, the truth is, when I fessed up to it, and I saw that the internet actually wasn't really upset, they were just laughing at me, but it wasn't like a big deal. I was like, dude, I'm happy that I admitted it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I had tried to lie about it and hide it, that would have been so much more stressful. And quite frankly, I think it would have been career ending. At that point, I had been a creator for 8 years. I wasn't a full-time live streamer like I am today. The whole next 10 years wouldn't have been possible if I spent the 10 years trying to sweep stuff under the rug, you know? So I'm very happy that I handled it the way that I did. It was a critical career-defining moment. And the fact that I handled it the way that I did, I think, allowed me to continue on. If I had lied and tried to hide it, I think it would have been the end of everything. Okay? Just being honest. From Netterhead, I received a $25.66 tip. I have no idea what the significance of that amount is, but I definitely appreciate that. Let me get my tip animations out here and play you one. But there is no message attached to it. It's just $25.66 from Netterhead. Thank you, Netterhead, for the generous tip. Thank you so much. So that's 62. Okay. We got a bunch of super chats to shout out. Let's shout all of these out. So we have... Wow, I have to go back like a half an hour. Holy shit. Okay. So Rich had done the Canadian $10 super chat asking, what was I watching? I don't know. Like, I was probably just watching a random website that, you know, it wasn't anything in, you know, that I saved up or special. It's so weird because people ask me that question over the years, and I jokingly say, oh, well, you see, whenever that I would do that, I would have all this giant elaborate stuff planned. So I would have candles that I would light throughout my office, right? And I would rub body lotion and oils on my body, and then I would get aromatherapy going, and then I would get into it with a special video set. No, didn't do that. It was just a spur of the moment thing. All right, it wasn't intentional. That everything was going to be made public. It wasn't, you know, planned out or anything. It was just a quick one, you know, just before my work day. So nothing special. Okay, I don't remember specifically what I watched. Jeffrey, whoa, supportive support with a gifted sub over on Kick. Thank you for that. Let's actually get that on the leaderboard now so I don't forget, because if I don't do it now, I'll probably forget. There we go. Thank you for that. So far, only everyone's just gifted one sub, right? So that's the top one. Okay, look at that. Look at that animation. Jeffrey did a $5 super chat. He says, you're finally playing into the meme. Well done. You can't reverse it, capitalize off of it, turn lemons into lemonade. Well, here's the thing, all right? It's 10 years later, all right? And I'm good. I'm happy. I'm successful. You understand? Like, I'm having a good time with life. Everything's good. So therefore, I don't care. You know, we could joke about it, but the thing is, it's not the end-all, be-all of me. It doesn't define me. Is it my most embarrassing moment? Yes. And it's also something that I moved past a very long time ago. And I don't have a problem discussing, but at the same time, I don't want to discuss it every moment because the future is way more interesting than something that happened 10 years ago. Okay? Just being honest. I feel like everything that is happening and is moving forward is way more interesting than stuff that happened over a decade ago at this point. Because now, guess what? It has been over a decade ago. All right? Cool. Skyjogger did a $5 super chat. Being a new fan, I'm not aware of the situation. I thought that this was just hype for Mega Man. I'm glad that you're rolling with this. Yeah, no worries. And again, it is Mega Man today. That is what we were doing. We were playing classic Mega Man all day long. We're going to try to finish 8, 9, and 10. We're halfway through 8, and then we're going to be playing 9 and 10. And hopefully we're going to finish this all up today. It would be great to finish all the classic Mega Mans today. I don't know if we will. There's also going to be food and booze and fun stuff happening today. I haven't drank anything yet. Like I said, for a $100 super chat or a $100 tip, there's a very special animation that will play, and I'll take a shot, but I'll probably end up having some shots later anyway. All right? Folt Jam did a $2 super chat. He says, unblock Rich so he can send a meaningful super chat. No, I'm not unblocking Rich. He's a piece of shit. He's a waste of everyone's time, and I don't care about him. See, because here's the difference. All right? For me, it's my most embarrassing moment. I can celebrate it. I can laugh at it. I can have fun with it. For someone else who for a decade has tried to make that the focal point of their content because their content fucking sucks, so they think that making fun of someone else's embarrassing moment is content, just shows what a pathetic, miserable waste of life they are. So he's never getting unbanned. I know, that's what he wants. He thinks that today is like his birthday, and will he get his birthday present of coming on my stream? No. You want to be a part of it? Here's what you do. You look at the stupid fucking tattoo on your arm that you put on there, you miserable fucking wretch, and you stare at your failure for the rest of your life. That's what you can do today. Okay. F for Fake did a $5 super chat and says, congrats on the anniversary of flogging the snake, greasing the pole, shaking hands with the milkman, etc. Yes, all of the euphemisms that everyone uses. Indeed. Thank you for $5. Let's see. Soul at 2 a.m. did a $5 super chat. And he says, don't make... I haven't heard of this one. The trouser trout. I've never heard that one before. An endangered species. That's the first one I've heard that one. All right. Well, thanks for $5 there. Soul at 2 a.m. The trouser trout. Let's see. Finn Turismo did a $5 super chat. He says, Bart? I don't even know what this is. Bart? Review Tech USA, eat my burst shorts, fart, fart, fart. I have no fucking idea what the hell that means. It sounds like crazy ramblings of an insane person. But thanks for $5. I have no idea what any of that means. Soul at 2 a.m. did another $5 super chat. How'd the conversation with Machinima go after the incident? Well, that's the thing. There was never a conversation. What ended up happening was I handled it all on my end by myself. Okay? There was never a conversation. And then they emailed me, like my partner manager emailed me like 2-3 days later. And they said, so we just want to check in and see how you're doing. After all of that, we're well aware of what's going on. And just so you know, we've already begun taking action on videos and stuff. And I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You did what? Like, you never even talked to me to see if anything I wanted. I don't want you taking videos down. I'm already memeing about it. I'm joking about it and everything seems fine. Why would we be reacting in that way? Like, it didn't seem to make sense to do that. But they had already taken it into their own hands. I guess they had an internal meeting and decided, oh, let's just do this, which I think is kind of underhanded and messed up that you don't even involve the person that you're doing this to. Because then, again, people always blamed me. They always came at me and said, oh, you did it. You did the takedowns. No, I didn't. And years later, I showed the dashboard on YouTube to show I never issued any of those claims. That was all Machinima doing it. I didn't feel like that was the right way to go about it because I think that it's better to laugh with it. Okay? Mr. Magikarp did a $5 super chat. And he's basically talking about negative toxic stuff, so thanks for $5. There you go.